up, alienARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. So today's topic, we are going to be talking again with channelings from the Bible, which in my opinion, as conveyed to me, is a wonderful top 5 books of creating your own reality, manifestation secrets, and all that good stuff. So we are not going to be looking at the Bible here from a religious perspective. I do not do that. If you want to view the Bible from a religious perspective, that's totally up to you, because remember, we do us here, all right? So I'm doing me, you're doing you. Take what resonates, boo. As conveyed to me, what we're going to be talking about today is the three days until the resurrection. And in my view, Jesus is a very important ascended master. He is someone who lived in a human suit and was able to achieve Christ consciousness whilst in a physical third dimensional body. So I resonate with Jesus as being an ascended master, comparable to Buddha or Ganesha or someone along those lines. And how I'm viewing Jesus, and I just want to throw this out there, because if you are really into religion and the Bible and who your perception of Jesus is, I just want to give you a heads up, because this is what I'm talking about. This way we are on the same page. I view Jesus as a very high ascended master. And when we're talking about the resurrection, because that Bible story that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with is that Jesus was crucified and then he was put in the tomb, and then on the third day he rose again. So as conveyed to me is that this may be talking about the event that actually happened, but here we look at things from metaphors. So what this essentially means is that, sure, it could have happened that Jesus's carbon-based human body, the third dimensional body, did pass away. His soul left his body. 3 days later, he returned, and he returned in his crystalline body, the fifth dimensional aspect, which this is, in my opinion, what is conveyed to me that Earth is transitioning towards, away from the carbon body, away from the carbon footprint, and into the more crystalline light body. That's another topic, but I wanted to get that out of the way because it sort of has relevance here. The metaphor of the resurrection of Jesus on the third day is actually, wait for it, in my other videos regarding the Bible. In the Bible, as conveyed to me, the number 3 is the number of creation. It is a very divine number. It is taking X, taking Y, forming Z out of it. So the number 3 with the third day resurrection, we're not necessarily looking at that Jesus was crucified and then 3 days later, meaning 72 hours later, he appeared again. The way that I am interpreting it here, as conveyed to me, is that the 3 days are actually the holy matrimony of the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and then creating the new reality. So essentially it was the ego death, the 3D death of Jesus, where we're looking at this individual as a great teacher, a master manifester of the law of attraction. And essentially this story is telling us that the 3 days mean that from going from the ego mind, the 3D mentality, flesh, what are things that you physically see in front of you, the 3 days are the marriage, the union of the conscious and the subconscious mind to create a new being, a resurrected version of the one that came before. Now we're tuning into the 5D reality, where sure, Jesus might have been an ascended master before that, able to access the 5D consciousness, but this story in particular called out to me, perhaps because it's one of the most famous from the Bible, I don't know, but either which way, what this is talking about as conveyed to me is that the third day resurrection, because 3 is the number of creation in the Bible as conveyed to me, on the third day he rose again, not necessarily 72 hours later, but the three, because he combined the two, the conscious and the subconscious, and he made a new product. He made the new him. He resurrected his old self, his ego self, and now he has transitioned. It's still him, right? But only now he's thinking from his light body. He's maneuvering around from his crystalline body rather than in his third dimensional physical body, his third dimensional ego, his third dimensional constructs, things like that. So the rising again, in terms of this metaphor and spirituality and law of attraction, co-creating with the universe, because remember, you have the you and you have the universe. You're co-creating together to form the third, to form the reality that you wish to seek, to perhaps even form the new you that you wish to experience your third dimensional material realm as. With this third day resurrection, now a new form, a new life has been breathed into that same individual. So it's like he's the same. He was Jesus before that. He's Jesus after that. Only he's like Jesus 2.0. Okay, that's like the best way that I can describe it. Obviously, we're talking about Jesus, so it's going to be more than 2.0, but I think you get the idea. So this is basically saying that the human in third dimensional form, viewing things from only a 3D standpoint, from things that they can touch literally, or things that have a calculated mathematical fact, we're transitioning because now we're marrying.
Is that a word? It is now.
We're combining what is going on in the present with the 3D, but we're co-creating with the universe, which is the second part of the equation, in order to form the third, which is us, our new and improved version. It's the us 2.0, where we're viewing things more from the light body construct rather than just the flesh and blood construct. So the 3-day resurrection of Jesus is that anyone can resurrect themselves from whatsoever they choose by forming the union, knowing this is where I am now, knowing this is where I want to be. Let's unite the two of them to create this third thing. Now the two are not separate. The two have united in this holy matrimony, in this WHOLE matrimony. So what's really going on with this resurrection in 3 days doesn't necessarily mean that it'll take 3 days to get what you want or whatnot. It's just symbolic. The number 3, as conveyed to me with this, is that it's symbolic because that is really the number of creation for the universe, because you're combining something with something else to make a new thing, to make a new idea, to make a new energy, to make a new thought form, whatever it is. So with Jesus being the high ascended master as he is, what we're saying is that he took his 3D ego self, he formed a union with his 5D and above self, with where he wanted to be, what he wanted to do, so on and so forth, and then that created a new man, the third aspect of this equation, the resurrected self, where he was now looking at things from the vantage point of the fifth dimensional perspective and above, not just from the third dimensional construct. And this can also be likened to when I'm talking about the Holy Trinity here, what we're talking about. This also stems from ancient Egypt, going way back even before the time of Jesus, which is why there are a lot of comparisons betwixt the ancient Egyptian philosophies and beliefs to what is written about in the Bible, because this is really just the law of how the universe works. So it's going to span over many different cultures, over eons of time, because that's just what it is. When you combine where you are right now and where you want to be, what's going to happen is that the two are going to form a union, and then it's going to co-create that third aspect of this equation, and you are going to get what you want. So this is also comparable if we want to look at the word resurrection, where we're seeing resurrected. You might have heard that phrase,
it breathed new life into me,
or something something along those lines. So this is where we're coming in with the Father aspect, which is universe, God, source, the all, however you want to look at it, and the Son, which is Jesus, which is the flesh and blood, and the Holy Spirit, which is the breath of life. There you go. So there's that aspect, because the Holy Spirit, the breath of life, is essentially what is breathing that new life into the resurrected version of whatever it is. It's new, it's fresh. That's why they say when someone is born into a physical domain vehicle, what's happening is that the Holy Spirit is present at the first breath, and then they go about their experience, and the Holy Spirit is present again at their last breath. So this is similar to the ancient Egyptian triad, which is also, in my opinion, another holy trinity, holy with a W. When we have Osiris, the father, Isis, the mother, and Horus, the son, which was the product of the two. And it's the same concept. It's the same concept as Osiris being the conscious mind, the creator, the one who is imparting his will upon the subconscious mind to multiply and create that which the conscious wants to see. The conscious mind, the masculine aspect, the feminine mind, which is Isis, which is going to multiply that which the conscious mind is bestowing upon it. And then they created their son, the third aspect of this triad, which was Horus, which was the desired outcome. So the Holy Trinity, in whichever culture you wish to view it as, and some cultures don't believe in the Holy Trinity, but I'm just going back to really this archaic wisdom and what is conveyed to me, what resonates with me. So when I think of the Holy Trinity, we want to look at the word holy, just add a W and then holy. It's whole, it's whole and complete, it already is. So when we want to think of our 3D limitations that we perceive, and then we want to look at the expansion of infinite anything in 5D and above, and we unite the two, they become whole, holy, it creates the new thing. So the three in terms of the resurrection with Jesus simply means that he was born again. He was resurrected. A new breath of life was bestowed upon him, and then he reached that ascended master, that Christ consciousness level, which is possible by anyone residing in a human suit. But it all depends on how one applies their mind. So the birth of the new life, which is the third aspect, the product of the co-creation of the two, be it the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, be it the physical body with the ethereal body, however you want to look at it, we always want to look at the number 3 as a master number of manifestation on the third dimensional plane, because this is really what's happening. We're taking something that is, and then we are inviting something that we want into that equation in order to have the final outcome, the product, that which we desire. So however title you choose to call it, if you want to look at Jesus with the third day resurrection, if you want to look at Osiris and Isis creating Horus, that is what is conveyed to me as being the Holy Trinity, the number 3, the number of creation on the material realm. And I am Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.